Tony D and Little Joan with a screenwriter's rant on Tulsa King, starring Sylvester Stallone as a Mafia Capo who moves to Oklahoma to take over the city. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books. Links in the description. Comedy Horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys, books 1 through 9. And Terrence Winter, executive producer of The Sopranos, so at least he knows his gangster stuff. Real quick, I'll be at the Hamilton Library tomorrow night. That's Thursday night at 6 p.m. for my lecture on how to hunt the Jersey Devil. Stop on by if you're in the area. Okay, Sylvester Stallone doesn't do TV, and he doesn't do mafia guys usually, because that's an Italian thing. You don't want to be pigeonholed in that role. But now he's getting older, and he's established, I think. I think you could say Sylvester Stallone is an established guy, but he's doing this series where he's a mafia captain who spent 25 years in prison, and now he's out, and the family sends him to Tulsa to do some business, and he's going to take it over. So it's a fish out of water thing where the mafia guys just show up and he starts just taking the place over. So I think this could be a fun show, from a mafia standpoint. I don't know about whether or not it has legs, because I got to say, his character is not that sympathetic. You know what I mean? He's very much a gangster and just kind of ruthless. So I'm not getting the vibe of like, well, how am I rooting for you, dude? At least with Tony Soprano, there was a certain vulnerability to him. He was going to a psychiatrist because his mother was driving him crazy, right? And he had family issues. This character doesn't seem to have that. And that, I think, is going to be an issue in the series. It should be fun to see Sylvester Stallone take over Tulsa, but at the end of the day, he's a bad guy. So kind of after the novelty of that fun wears off, I don't see how this series is going to have legs, And is this meant to have legs? Here's a scene, and it's a typical mafia scene. He says, if anybody asks, I'm an industrialist. What is that? Exactly my point. So that's a fun line. It's funny. But is it really, legit in terms of the crime? Well, he's recruiting guys who aren't Italian to be in his crew. So they, it's not like mafia guys don't use Italian people in their various crimes. They do. But in the mafia, you're not really a made guy unless you're Sicilian. And then you have to be made. So you have to be a full-blooded Sicilian, according to the rules, and then you have to be made. Now, maybe there's some families that have loosened that somewhat, but I would imagine you definitely have to be Italian at the very least. So none of these guys are Italian, but that's okay. So it's meant to be sort of a fish out of water thing. He's the Italian guy, the one Italian guy in Tulsa, I guess. And he just recruits guy like this guy. So this guy runs some sort of head shop where they're selling marijuana illegally, but I don't know, is it still illegal in Tulsa? Again, I don't know who the bad guy in this show is. Are we just going to watch Sylvester Stallone run amok? Again, that could be fun. He's having fun with the role, but I'm not seeing it as total comedy. So there's that, and I'm not seeing who the bad guy is in this other than him. So typically when you do a show like this or a movie, what you want is to put him in this role and then say, well, there's a guy that's even worse, right? So the idea would be like, we're sending you to Tulsa because, the guy who ran the town before ran it well, but he was horribly murdered by, let's say, the Mexican cartel. And now they're taking it over and they're murdering people and they're crazy. And then they send him in, and he's not a good guy either, but he's a hell of a lot better than, say, the Mexican cartel who are murdering everybody. And that could be like quote, his bad guy, and the idea is he's gonna turn the tables on the Mexican cartel and set things back to the way they were. It was corrupt, but it wasn't violent, right? Something like that. Or that he's got to get revenge on somebody, right? Another mafia guy who's taken over the town or whatever. Maybe the guy who put him in prison. Or maybe he's, the typical pitch would have been like he's in the witness protection program and they send him to Tulsa and he uses his mafia ways to help people, but he's not really actively rebuilding the family and taking over the city. So I'm not sure if this show could work. It just seems to be, it starts November 13th. Again, I think for a season, it would probably be good. After that, I don't know where you go with this show. At some point he takes over the city or he goes after some guys. Like, how do you make this character likable is my question. And I'm not seeing it in the trailer, other than, yeah, there's some funny moments where Sylvester Stallone gets to beat some guys up, but do they deserve it? That's important in a story. If those guys don't really deserve it, so like it's really simple to do. He beats up he knocks out a security guard for the hippie guy at the head shop, right? And he goes, I want to see your books. Like, I want to see how much money you're making. And the guy goes, are you from the government? And he goes, I just knocked out your security guard and you asked me if I'm a CPA? That's a funny line. It's very funny. But it's still not a comedy. Like, it's still in that realm of, like, menacing. So, but it would be really easy to set that up, and it probably happens. The security guard comes up to him and says, hey, you can't come in here or whatever. And Sylvester Stallone is like, oh, I just want to talk to your boss. I'm not making any trouble. And the guy's like, no, get out of here, a-hole. And he's a real jerk. And then Sylvester Stallone says, all right. And he walks a few steps away, picks something up, and, like, knocks him unconscious. So that's a way to make the guy kind of deserve it. So you kind of but that's really, that sort of feeling that, everybody he's attacking kind of deserves it is tough to sustain. It was a problem in The Sopranos, which got increasingly darker and darker as the series progressed. Now, to some extent, The Sopranos, it started out like this, light and funny. And people forget that. It was almost marketed as a comedy. Because one of the early episodes was where Tony goes after a guy while Meadow is doing a college interview for college, right? That was, and he sees a guy in the witness protection program who betrayed his friends. So you could side with Tony. You could feel okay about siding with Tony, not totally dirty. But like, if it was just like, oh, I'm gonna kill that guy because he was in a, he ratted on us, it's not quite the same. So I like what I'm seeing here. I like Sylvester Stallone in this role. Looks fun. Where is it gonna go is my question. Would I watch it? Yeah, I would totally watch it. I watch Mafia stuff all the time. I don't have Paramount Plus though, so I'm gonna wait. I have many relatives who are Italian, so I'm sure one of them's going to watch this and tell me whether or not it's good. Oh, did you see that Sylvester Stallone thing? And I'll ask them, oh, is it good? And they'll give me the Italian evaluation of this. But it looks all right. I would definitely give the first season a chance. I mean, Sylvester Stallone's good. He's kind of hard to understand in the trailer, but he looks good in the role. But I'm just wondering where it goes. And could it be the sort of thing where, like, it's all Stallone, right? Like, on the one hand, yeah, he's a big star or whatever, but in a TV show, you need a cast. Or you need to go into layers upon layers about this character, which I'm not seeing yet. But it is a TV show, so there's a lot more to unroll here, But I'm liking what I see so far. For first season breakdown, I can't really do 3 acts, but the first season's going to be fish out of water. He comes to town. He sends the Tulsa. Oh, that's stupid. And he goes there and, You know, he's asking for Italian food all the time. He can't get any. You know, he does, again, he does brash and violent things, and people aren't ready for it. And soon he starts accumulating the empire. But the question is, who's his foil? Who is he against? Is it a corrupt police department, or is it again other gangsters? What? So that would be my biggest question. Maybe that'll be in a new trailer. And then, you know, by the end of the first season, he's made some headway, and then they're going to end it on a cliffhanger, so you watch for season 2. Anyhow, yeah, I would give it a thumbs up, I suppose. It looks good. Anyhow, let's wrap it here. I'm Tony D. This is Little Joan. Check us out on Odysee, Bitchute, and Rumble for our more bass takes. I do 4 videos a day with Little Joan. And we have much more bass takes on the other platforms, because you can't put any spicy takes on YouTube. They get mad at you. I don't know what it is. So check us out on Odysee, Bitchute, and Rumble. We'll see you tomorrow.